No. Alright, welcome to the bipolar fucking Toffees. 2-0 at Southampton, which I think a lot of us really expected. And joining me today is Lee from View from the Bullens. Lee. What? Just Everton.
What are you asking me for? You tell me.
I know, I'm the presenter, fucking hell. Just a very naive game, as you said before, didn't you?
Yeah.
To pick the same side that finished against Leeds, or won against Leeds. Given the Everton side that Everton is, these players can't play 2 games on the spin successfully, and I'm hoping Lampard has figured that out now.
We've had 3 games, and when I saw that lineup today, and it was not changed.
No.
I just think it is a bit naive. That's the word that he used, and I think he's been here 3 weeks now. That's 3 league games. Okay, forget the Brentford game in the cup. That's a separate thing altogether. He's got a good home win, and it was good, and we enjoyed last week. And there was better performances, but don't forget that's willed on by a home crowd. That was the best atmosphere we've seen for a while. Today they didn't have that. They didn't have that against Newcastle. So in a way, I could see that coming.
Yeah, you can't rely on the fans. We can't be pulling the players through this all the time. They've got to stand up and be accounted for.
Yeah, and when they've got things going against them and it's not all going their own way, and you've got a home support against them, again, Southampton at the side who have found form recently and stuff like that, they go to bits. And Lampard's talked about it in his press conference after the game.
Yeah.
As soon as we go a goal down, they forget everything. They forget what they're trying to do. They forget the game plan. The ball looks like a hot potato again.
Yeah.
And we don't look like scoring. We've gone there and we haven't even had a shot on target.
But it didn't look like that. Even before the goal, we didn't look like we were stringing passes together. We didn't look that same shape and technical side that was playing so well against Leeds.
No.
It was back to return to form, almost. You know what I mean? It's like like you say, you knew it was coming.
Yeah, you did
because of that setup.
And the away form this season. Listen, we're now 23 games in. We're 2/3. Is it over 2/3 of the way through? We've won 1 game away from home.
Yeah,
and we're in a real predicament. Results today have gone against us again. You've got Burnley winning. Who was the other one that won? Watford winning. And you looked at before kick-off today. You looked at it and you thought, if we can at least get a point. If you'd gone back a week and said 4 points out of Leeds and Southampton, you'd have took that.
Yeah.
At least get a point, and then you looked at the other fixtures and you thought it's more than likely that extends the gap between us and the sides below us. And as it happens, typical Everton. We're stood here now, 8 o'clock. We've got beat. The other lot have won. City have got beat, and the team's down with us.
Yeah.
It's like that collective disaster of results again. It's like everything that could go against us does. Now, one thing I don't want to forget around today, that we were ad off again by a big decision. That's as blatant a penalty as you could wish to see.
Yeah,
that's a penalty all day long.
I've said it in the group chat. I said if that penalty gets called, it's a different game. Completely changes the shape and the shape of the game.
This isn't making excuses. Because you can't just ignore that. Yes, we've played awful. It was a terrible performance.
But maybe that's part and parcel of the decision by why the Reds gone down and say, well, if we're not going to get decisions from referees, what's the point? But again, though, you look at that and you go, other end, that's a penalty. I'm not trying to be Everton biased or anything kind of like that. I just think any other team there gets that. You saw that penalty that went to VAR before, just for Man City, for the equaliser. And
it's the correct decision. That's what VAR is there for.
But who's making that? If the referee's making that final decision, then he's got it wrong again. You know what I mean? And it's going to affect us fucking completely.
And it did at Newcastle as well.
Yeah.
We were out off at Newcastle. What came after that isn't good enough, and you can't make excuses for that. But you've got to. You should be able to put the trust in the technology. It's not the technology's fault. It wasn't the technology that made that decision. It went to VAR. It's a human being that's looked at that and somehow gone, that's not a penalty to Everton. Yeah. And you just can't get your head around that.
There's also something I was looking at before, the video leading up to their first goal, and it's actually a foul.
It's a foul on Gomez. Oh yeah. Every day.
I screamed at it and gone, fucking hell, Gomez, because I've seen it. I've saw it at full speed and gone, what the fuck has he done? Entied's played it in towards Gomez, and Gomez has gone, oh, and then just left it. I'd say, well, actually, there's a foul there on Gomez, and the referee's just gone, play on. I'd say, well, why? It's not a foul. It's a foul against us. It's not. So it's
I mean, these are things that went against us. The performance was pretty predictable, and between now and the end of the season, we've got to try and find a way. Whether Lampard has seen enough now away from home to think, actually, I can't trust this player. I need to make these changes, because you look at the people who aren't getting a look in. Patterson, you know, Dele Alli needs to come in.
I think if he's fit enough, he's ready.
He needs to come in and make his impact. Branthwaite, even, you know, the centre backs have let us down again. Is he going to look at it now and go,
I need to
now's the time?
I need to play
a proper left back. Michael Enco should have came in today. I think that's naive.
But then, you know, is John Joe Kenny going to get a new contract now? Because everyone was fucking hammering him for it on social media all last week, just because he's had one good game. You know, I'm not going to take away from Leeds. He was exceptional, but this is a team of players who are 1 in 3, 1 in 4 players.
You can't rely on them to put a run together, and the fact is, we have not put a run together all season.
No,
and that's why we are the way where we are. I think the Bobble put a tweet on just before we came out, Dave. 23 games, 22 points, our lowest total since 1953, the year we went down. So time's running out. I keep picturing that sort of sand thing with the time running out. We've got to do what we did at home last week. The atmosphere's got to be like that every single home game between now and the end of the season, because we've got to try and pull these players over the line.
It's got to be us, because
they're so fragile, they're so mentally weak. You know, if they haven't got that behind them, it seems they fall apart.
It's on us. It is on us, because they aren't going to do it. And I think even now, any away game now is literally damage limitation, and just go, listen, I don't care if we don't fucking score a goal, just don't concede. We need to just start picking
even a point today.
That's
we need to stop losing.
Yeah, that's it. Stop
we said it in the car on the way today. Even a point today. You know, you go a goal down, don't panic. It's Southampton. You're not facing City or Liverpool or anything like that. You're playing Southampton. Don't panic. Remember what you've worked on all week. Gather yourself and go again. If you get a 1-1, sound.
Enjoy it and take heart. Listen, you fought for it. Yeah, and that's all we need to be doing.
But we're losing too many of them again, and it's against the teams down there.
The ones around us, that's the worst thing about it.
Worrying me. That's what's worrying me. So you got City next week, nice easy game.
Well, as I said to you, Bipolar FC will win this. We'll win that game next week, but have City ever lost 2 on the spin?
That's law of averages. Law of averages says that. They don't. But listen, our season won't hinge on whether we beat Man City or not.
No.
That's naive to think of that. We've got to look ahead, and we've looked at the fixtures. They don't look the friendliest of fixtures.
It's good times, definitely.
We've got to put a run together. Even 2 or 3 games unbeaten. You know, City is what it is. You know, anything we get out of that is an absolute bonus next week. But after that, we've got to start being a bit more consistent. Lampard's got to find a system and an 11 that he can trust
and stick to it.
And that works. And the fans have just got to do what they did, like I say, last week, because it was unbelievable. And if we can do that, we will pick up points at home. Yeah. And you just got to hope and pray that by the end of the season that's enough, and we'll pick enough points up at home, because away you just can't. You can't predict it, can you? Can't predict.
Go on, should we go and have a bevy?
Nothing else
right.
to do,
Yeah, we're going to have a bevy anyway, because we need to after watching
What a day.
But, you know, like and subscribe to the channel, give us your comments and your thoughts below, and make sure you're subscribing to View from the Bullens podcast as well. It's fucking superb, and all the lads on there are great. He's alright. He's alright. Till then, I'll speak to you next week.
Try and have a good night, Blues.
Yeah.
Forget today.
And if you're travelling home on the coaches or whatever, safe journeys. We know the weather's been shit.
They don't deserve you.
They don't. They really
Best
don't.
support in the world. They don't deserve you.
Up the fucking toffees.
Take care, everyone.
See you in a bit.